All right, welcome back to another episode. We appreciate you coming back. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Want to thank Adam Chubbuck with Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland for continuing to sponsor this show. Go to tacmd.com, that's tacmd.com, and go see what Adam can offer you as far as being a buyer or a seller in this real estate market. We've said this week after week after week for the last 2 years or so since Adam has been a sponsor of this show. Look, as someone who's bought and sold 4 houses in 45 years of life, I bought the first one when I was in my 20s, so within 25 years of life, I bought and sold 4 different houses. So I've got some experience with this. I'm not exactly an investor, but I will say this: each and every time I went and bought and sold a house, I did not do it on my own. In fact, I've fired real estate agents that were not doing things in my best interest, and I'm going to save you the hassle of trying to find a real estate agent. You want to go to tacmd.com and you want to schedule an appointment with Adam. He is going to be the person that you want to do business with. I do encourage people to seek out multiple interviews with real estate agents, but I can almost guarantee you the moment you sit down with Adam, he is the one you're going to go with. He has your best interests in mind. He's not going to just push you into a real estate deal to suit his own needs. He is going to put your best interests at heart, and even if that means that he doesn't get your business right away. And that's the sign of not only a good business person, but a good person in general. So go to tacmd.com, that's tacmd.com, and schedule your appointment with Adam today. Mike is back.
Hola.
Work has slowed down a smidge.
Just a smidge.
A smidge. We could not find a day to record last week, so you got me only talking about that government furlough, or at least my perspective as a government employee dealing with a government furlough. If you like that episode, please hit the like button on this one, because I don't want you to have to go find the old one and hit the button there. So just hit it on this one. And Mike listened to the episode. Yes, we do listen to our own episodes.
Yeah, not all the time, but...
No, but on certain ones we do. Especially this last one. Like, I wanted to make sure... Well, I listened to it just to make sure that I didn't leave anything out. But, of course, I left a lot of shit out. It's hard to, like, get in everything that you want with a nuanced topic in a course of an hour. That and talking to yourself is fucking weird. So I try to figure that part out. But Mike was telling me, he's like, I want to talk about that. And so I think it's important to get someone else's input, just like I said in the last show, about the same topic, because I'm only one perspective in this. And I really can't get into the politics of it. Like I said, I mentioned I don't blame anybody. Mostly because I really can't. But Mike certainly can.
Sure. Yeah. And whereas Alex didn't want to assign blame to either political party, I'm assigning blame to both of them. And basically it comes down to their job is to run the government, and they're not doing that. If this were any other entity, even state and local government, state governments have to have a budget. They can't just shut down. They can't go into deficit spending. They can't be as irresponsible as the federal government does. So, like these guys, they print their own money, and in doing so, it's almost like there's no excuse for any of this. Like, and I remember in the past there have been some the debt ceiling crisis when they decided that they weren't going to authorize raising the debt ceiling to stick it to the other side. When they were and they did that a couple times. I think they did. Did they do that a lot with Obama and Bush?
I think I want to say Republicans did it more to Obama.
Yeah, and it always seems like it's the party in power is the one that's getting it stuck to by the party that's not in power. But in any case, it's their job as a collective to compromise and figure out a way to pass a budget and keep the government funded. And like you said in your previous podcast, not your ours, just you were doing it. Ours, sorry, Goose. But it's one of those things where their job is to get this thing done, correct? Throughout history, in fact, the Bill of Rights, all these things in the founding documents of the nation in the Constitution were compromises, right? The big states wanted to have the legislature based on population. Well, the small states didn't like that, so that's where they came up with the Senate and the House. It was a compromise. The Bill of Rights was part of that compromise. There were these things that are parts of the compromise that made, and that's how it was started. Well, now we have essentially just a bunch of petulant children who are in office, and to score political points with their insane bases, will do these things. And there are crazy left-wing wackos that are like, yeah, stick it to them. And there are right-wing wackos that say, yeah, stick it to them. And then there's the idiots that say, no, lazy federal employees. Okay, that's all stupid bullshit. And there are things the government does. Now, you mentioned it in the last episode. We've said it before. We did a whole episode where we invented agencies and programs to see if we could fool each other on which ones were real and which ones weren't. And the funny part is that we're like, yeah, that could be it. It was something completely ridiculous and made up. And then there was something that was even more ridiculous that actually existed. So no, I'm not saying that there's no waste in the federal government, but there are essential things that need to get done that aren't getting done. This is a weird one now because military pay is being affected. So we're going to go and start a bunch of bullshit wars and send these kids overseas to get their guts blown out. And now we're not going to pay them. And then they insert these poison pills into bills they know aren't going to pass. Right? So if you and I are negotiating to say you're going to buy a car from me, and I go, oh, well, just so you know, it doesn't come with a transmission. You're not going to buy the car. And if I do it with the intent of knowing you're not going to buy the car so I can get something else through the deal, well, then I'm not negotiating in good faith. And they never do. And to me, every single incumbent who's behind this and is not willing to work to get this through, fire them. Goodbye. Because if it was any other business, they'd be shit canned.
Let me ask you something, though. So, in this current situation, so this is a little bit different from other shutdowns in that there is no appropriations bill. Like, a lot of times it was debt ceiling issues.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's no appropriations at all. Essentially, what the Republicans are saying is that, well, we passed a continuing resolution. Essentially, whatever the funding was in the previous fiscal year, it was just going to carry over until whatever date. I think they were going for like November 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And Democrats were saying, well, we want to negotiate things into the CR. And they're saying, we're not going to negotiate on the entirety of the appropriations until the government is back open with a CR. The thing is because there are no appropriations, a CR just kind of, I think it just funds the government to a certain level.
Yeah, and it just kicks the can down the road.
I think so, but and so essentially what they're saying to Democrats is, we'll negotiate on these items, but the government has to be open for us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Democrats are saying, we don't trust you to incorporate these things into the negotiation. Therefore, it's almost like they want to negotiate the entire appropriation now, and they don't want the CR at all. But this goes back to the thing I've talked about before with Democrats. The only thing Democrats do well is shitty messaging. And I haven't, I'm guessing that that's what they're doing, or that's what they're attempting to do, because none of them can articulate that. And it's like, the funny part, and the GOP, I'm telling you, whoever runs their PR right now just is hitting a home run after home run after home run, because they just say, we're not going to negotiate until the government is open. And they've been steady. And something that simple makes sense to people.
Yeah.
Like, they're saying, look, we're not going to negotiate putting this money back in place or putting that money back in place. They were really good at framing, saying, hey, Democrats want to give money to illegal immigrants. And then Democrats fell for the trap. Like, well, illegal immigrants don't get Medicare and Medicaid money. And then, of course, Republicans had receipts.
Yeah.
And it comes from California. It's like, well, Medi-Cal provides free health care to illegal immigrants. And again, Democrats fell for the trap. Oh, well, Medi-Cal isn't paid for by the federal government, which is technically true, but it's done through an accounting trick.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially what they do is they budget the money for Medi-Cal for all people. They get the federal Medicaid money, and they use a portion of that to fund some of the people that were funded under Medi-Cal. The money that they can then pull, they keep it in Medi-Cal. So let's say the federal government gives them $1 billion for Medicaid. They can then take that $1 billion that they were going to spend on people that were covered under Medicaid and use it for illegal immigrants.
Right.
But it's not under Medicaid.
Yeah.
It's under Medi-Cal.
Right. So it's essentially, of course, because you know what? I'll use a boat. Sure. I'm not going to use airplanes again. You have a boat that has 2 engines. You have more than one fuel tank. Someone says, you can use both tanks for engine 1, but you can't use any from this tank for engine 2. So all you do is cross-feed the fuel from engine 1, from tank 1 to tank 2, and so you can run more. You're just drawing a line differently. It's,
right.
It's like, oh yeah, well, you're not funding. It's just like how Fauci said that he wasn't funding gain of function.
Right.
They're just doing it through an NGO.
Yep.
And it was still federal money that was funding that crap, but we never did it. But then, of course, there's emails because they're stupid.
Well, and that's the other part of, like, 20 years ago, you can run that scheme.
Yeah.
And they ran it. They had run that through the 70s. But in today's internet, and more people know how to use FOIA requests, and reporters have a very slick way. They bombard FOIA requests. Like, it's like 30, 40, 50 of them. And their whole idea is that they're going to get the right person who's not going to redact everything. And then and then they can use it because they're going to see unredacted information. Mm-hmm. Because, a lot of times I think a federal agency will redact a lot of information saying it's for security purposes.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. It's entirely too much stuff is classified, but that's a different...
Yeah, but that's what they do.
Yeah.
And so eventually someone gets it, or they get the information by other means, by a whistleblower, whatever it is. And then people see it, and they're just like, but you guys said this, and I'm seeing this over here that completely negates what you said. And it keeps happening over and over and over again. And I'm just like, at some point, you become the boy who cried wolf. Mm-hmm. And I always say, like, it's like everything is the next apocalypse to these people. And they do it for this reason. It's we're gonna take everything Orange Man Bad says. Mm-hmm. Everything. And we're going to make a big deal out of it in coordination. And we really hope one of these pieces of spaghetti sticks to the wall that gets people to finally say, you know what? He is a bad guy.
Yeah.
I really don't want to vote for him. And the next election, they're hoping that they'll vote for the other side. The problem is it's not working. And they're losing voters in droves. Mm-hmm. I mean, the registration numbers, I think, are cooked. But right now, they're saying there's a net 4 million in favor of the GOP going into the midterms. Now, I do think there's a scheme. I think Democrats have this thing set up where they have Democrat voters register as Republicans so that they can vote in primaries
and vote for terrible candidates.
Yeah, and we saw that happen in Maryland.
Yeah,
I mean that the Republican gubernatorial candidate was god awful.
yeah. Oh yeah,
and we ended up with Westmore.
Yeah.
Did Westmore really win, or did Republicans just set him up to win?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Democrats helped set him up to win by voting in the GOP primary, and they're not the only ones that do it. They do it on other states as well. So, and the worst part about it is, it's put out the information, get all the flack, and then just don't respond and move on to the next one. And I was like, you're killing your brand right now. Because even if you just lose one moderate for each point, one moderate, you're killing off any hope you had of winning because moderates win you the general election.
Right. It's like baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to win 50 and lose 50, and it's what you do with the other 62 that count. And it seems like they're just not even showing up to play the other 62, or making just awful decisions and that's causing them to lose it. And
it's completely bad PR. It's horrible PR. They have some winning points. Now, like Bernie Sanders doing the fight the oligarchy thing, horrible idea.
Yeah, especially when they're flying from destination to destination on private jets.
Like, bros, if you are the oligarchy, everybody knows this shit.
Yeah.
Like, well, we have the biggest crowds. You have the biggest paid crowds.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, they're not paid. There are companies set up to hire paid protesters. Like, people it's their living.
Mm-hmm.
And they get in the company, like, the company is there to bail them out.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you might get put in jail, we'll bail you out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pay for your legal fees. It's big business.
Yeah.
It's like, it was funny. Like, they showed a picture. There were people protesting ICE in Chicago. And they were saying how, oh, this is going to disenfranchise minorities and black people. And they showed a picture of the protest. How many black people or minorities did you see at that protest?
Probably zero.
There was like 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 out of like 300.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, these people aren't from Chicago.
Right.
The people, and like, they go and interview people from South Side of Chicago. Like, it's probably good for the city. My kids can't play outside.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's good or bad. I really don't. I mean, I'm not a big fan of seeing militarized people walking around cities.
No,
but
and I think that they're also losing, but they're losing in when you get to that where they're saying, hey, your cities are crime infested,
mm-hmm.
and we're offering this, and it worked in D.C. So now it's like you're going at, like, you're choosing to have your citizens get murdered on the street. Like, there's an option there, and you can but because it's coming from Orange Man Bad, they say this is the first time ever that the U.S. military's been. No, because look at when they used the 101st Airborne to enforce the, I forget which Supreme Court decision it was, but essentially it was to desegregate the schools in
Brown versus Board of Education.
Yeah. Yep.
And they did it at Kent State.
Yep.
But and this was another horrible messaging tactic. So the Republicans were saying that they're going into the worst cities with the worst violence. And they showed the 10 worst cities for violence, and I believe one of them had a Republican mayor. So what do Democrats do? They go online and they say, these cities in these red states have the worst crime. It's really the GOP.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm talking about with horrible messaging. Because right underneath that in the comments, it's like, hey, dumbass, those cities have Democrat mayors, and the governors don't have any pull in there. And the one they were using was Jackson, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, Mississippi has a Democrat mayor. Has a Republican governor, though, in Mississippi. They were literally trying to blame the violence in Jackson, Mississippi on the governor. And it was a sleight of wordplay, right? And they've already convinced their people, their hardcore people, that the GOP is to blame for that. But everybody on the right, and 90% of the people in the middle with a brain, are like, that math doesn't math.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, it's like they're still stuck in 1980s. You have to get your news from ABC, NBC, CBS, the Washington Post, the New York Times. And it's so easy to just do a quick Google search and figure out, like, oh, who's the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi? And then they show you who the mayor is, and they have a D after their name.
You don't even have to Google it. In the comment, like, when these dumbasses put it on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Well,
like,
so comment one either knew it or Googled it, right?
Comment one.
Yeah.
And
it's like they post at 9:52 and 33 seconds, and the comment one comes in at 9:52 and 40 seconds.
And it's in an easily readable list.
Yeah.
And it says, here are the top 10 cities, and here are the mayors. And oh, and they go, hey, dumbass, the mayors run these cities, and they're Democrats. And it has probably 2 million views. Now, whether those are real people or not, I don't know. But let's say 400,000 of them are real views and not bots. That's 400,000 people that are looking at that.
Yeah.
Let's say a quarter of that, 100,000 of those people are moderates. Those people that you need votes from in the general election are gone.
Yeah.
Because now you look like a lying piece of shit. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and they do this over and over again. They try the wordplay over and over again. And it's like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's Democrat policy or not. I don't judge that part of it. But whoever is behind that party and running the PR behind it, like, and telling them, okay, these are the things we're gonna go. These are our talking points. These are our policy points. That person needed to be fired a year 3 ago. Like, that person, like, you're gonna lose the midterms.
Well, they still talk about January 6th.
I know.
The insurrection, and they still talk about it. And if you go, but here's the thing: these sanctuary cities are they're defying federal law. So, but they don't talk. But that's not an insurrection. So but there's still, and a lot of people, like, if you think the January 6th was an insurrection, you think that. I think there's a bunch of assholes that there's a couple of assholes in there that took it too far, and then there's a bunch of people, like, when the police are, like, letting you in, okay, right? Like, if I came and knocked on your door and you let me in, like, did I burglarize your house? Right? Like, if an agent of the property, who would be U.S. Capitol Police, lets you in,
like, opens the door,
come on in,
and opens the door and steps aside and does the hand motion to come in, and that's on video.
Yeah,
like, you can't say all of them, right? The other part of it to me is again, and this is the lack of research. If you want to look up insurrections, go look up the one in Syria in the 1970s by the Ba'athis. Mm-hmm. Go look up the one by Saddam Hussein and the Ba'athis in Iraq. Go look up the one, I think it was in 2021 or 2020 in Myanmar, whatever that name is.
Yeah. In
a coup, an insurrection, they come with machine guns and they kill everybody.
Yeah.
Like, if this was a real insurrection, the Capitol Police would have been done.
Yeah.
The politicians there would have been done, like, gone. They don't leave survivors in an insurrection.
Right.
The worst thing someone brought with them was a zip tie.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, some of them had flagpoles, and they did try to use them as weapons. And I'm not saying these people were geniuses. I'm saying, and if they were there trying to use anything as a weapon or attack any police officer or
Sure.
even try to forcibly enter the Capitol, you go to jail.
Yeah.
The other weird thing is there's some videos of a masked individual who looked very, very trained in special operations. Basically broke the window to the Capitol, walked away from it, and like there's audio of it, and he was like, "You should go in. You guys should definitely go through. Go through." And nobody would touch it.
Yeah.
And then so he goes back, and he like starts to like move the glass out of the way, so that people wouldn't get like, so
Cut.
people would like, yeah, they were like, so it would be more inviting to go in. And again, he's walking away going, "Go in, yeah, it's time. Go in, yeah." But he's wearing like like he looked like he was like some kind of security for the building. And then it came out, of course, there were over 200 FBI agents in the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, don't get me wrong, I could be grasping at straws, but there's enough there. No weapons were brought. No, bunch of dumbasses, absolutely. And then some suspicious activity, and you also had 216 FBI agents who were supposed to be agitators.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had other agitators, like the one guy who was there trying to rile everyone up, and then went on CNN. And he ended up. Well, there was that guy too, but then there was the other kid who was part of like the Utah or Colorado Antifa organization. Which, by the way, they're still trying to say Antifa isn't an organized group; it's just an idea. Well, I'm anti-fascist. I'm Antifa. No, you're not.
It's funny how Antifa usually uses awfully fascist techniques to.
Well, those people remind me of when they were saying, it was the whole Black Lives Matter thing. There was Black Lives Matter, the organization, and then there were people who believed in the saying Black Lives Matter.
Sure.
The people who believed in the saying Black Lives Matter believed the organization Black Lives Matter was there for virtuistic things, and they were organizing everyone who believed in Black Lives Matter. And it turned out they were in it to just steal all the money and buy themselves multi-million-dollar homes.
Yeah.
And the funny part is nobody knows where the money went other than that lady's homes.
Yeah. Patrice Cullors.
You have local, and they have like local Black Lives Matter or like chapters who aren't, I guess they're not really associated with like the national organization, and they're like, we haven't seen a dime of this shit, and they're pissed.
Yeah,
but it's the same kind of deal, right? It's like you believe in being anti-fascist, but you don't understand that someone has taken your name, Antifa, and made it into a militant group. It's like the people say, "Look, I can call myself I can call myself Eric Estrada, but I'm not the hunk from Chips,
right?
You know what I mean? But I can adopt that identity and do all types of shit in that name. And it's like, or I could say I'm Santa Claus, but I'm not Santa Claus,
right?
And so. And again, because the internet exists, social media exists, the minute you try and post some shit like that, dude, you are called out immediately. And then they go, "Oh, Twitter's just a shithole." And don't get me wrong, it is. There's some fucking horrible people on there. But, I mean, but they claim like Blue Sky is some righteous place. I didn't create a Blue Sky account, but I see stuff that people put. There are some horrible people on Blue Sky.
How big is Blue Sky compared? I mean, I'm sure it's minuscule compared.
It's tiny.
To,
yeah.
Like, and what was that thing? Truth Social? Is that still around?
That's Donald Trump's one.
Yeah.
That's where he still posts.
Right.
You want to know why the Truth Social posts get out? Because people screenshot it and put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's essentially on Twitter without being on Twitter.
Right. Yeah. Then there's what's the other one? Rumble.
There is Rumble. That's more of like the YouTube competitor. There was Parler for a while. Mm-hmm. Dude, Parler had some wild people on that thing.
Yeah. Well, Dan Bongino was heavily invested in Parler. and then he ended up. But then when AWS stopped serving them,
That's another part of it. So like when the left wants to talk about censorship and all that shit. I think they either haven't heard of the Twitter files, in which the federal government pressured Twitter to take people off, including the former now current president.
Yeah.
They pressured YouTube. YouTube just paid a settlement to the federal government over taking things down over federal pressure. But one of the things that was, and if people want to be shocked and appalled by something, it should be the thing that happened to Parler. Parler was taken off the app stores, both the Apple Play Store and the Google Play Store, or the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Not only was it taken off, because with Android you could sideload it. Mm-hmm. You're gonna, because you can, for Google things, you can put apps on that aren't in the Google Play Store.
Right.
So Amazon essentially cut off their server access. It was like so between Apple, Google, and Amazon, all three colluded to make sure that thing didn't go on. Mm-hmm. And they killed it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lawsuit ongoing about that too. But you want to talk about killing of free speech, and I put free speech in air quotes because you're on someone else's platform, it's not free speech. The only real free speech is if I want to go out into a public street and say some shit, as long as I got a permit. Actually, if I just want to go talk some shit, I can go talk some shit. Sure. If I want to organize more than like 10 people, I need a permit. But if I just want to go say some shit and I'm on a public street, I'm allowed to say it 100%.
Right.
If I want to go on YouTube and say it, I got to agree to the terms of service. Mm-hmm. That ain't free speech.
Yeah.
That's what the whole Kimmel thing wasn't free speech. You're on ABC. That shit ain't free.
Yeah.
That's owned by Disney.
Yeah. And it's like if you had a printing press and you were in the basement, or just on your computer, and you're printing things out, or you owned the server, but when the second you're using somebody else's equipment or service, you have to abide by, and right, wrong, or different. Now the problem is when it's under pressure from the federal government, then it comes back around.
Well, and that was the main point. It was the federal government doing pressuring these companies, and if the companies didn't comply, you need the full weight of the federal government.
And how is that not the story of the decade? They just don't talk about it. They're like, nah.
Nothing exists.
Yeah.
Like it never fucking happened.
Someone tried to kill, at the time, the Republican candidate for president of the United States, and we don't know anything about him. Nothing. They tried to do it twice. Nothing.
Well, and what was the other one? Shoot. I lost my train of thought. I can't remember what else they kind of just swept under the rug, but
the Charlie Kirk
that's gone quietly away. Well, the conspiracy theories in this thing are just all over the place.
Yeah.
First it was liberals, then it was Trantifa, then it
became the woke right,
and
the ultra right.
Well, then it's Israel.
Yeah.
And then it was Turning Point itself.
Yeah.
So Turning Point was going to try and kill him. Like, okay, who the fuck did this?
Yeah.
And why don't we know?
And have you heard like the text messages between the assassin and his furry whatever roommate? Paramour.
It was generated. If that wasn't generated by AI, I don't know what is. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, I was waylaid, my love.
Right.
Who talks like that? Was it Geoffrey Chaucer who was the?
It's someone really into the Renaissance Fair. Like the Ren Fair for them is like the event of the year. And don't get me wrong, I love myself a good Renaissance Fair.
I've never been.
Really?
Nope.
I go for the turkey legs, even though they taste like shit.
I don't like turkey.
I know you have this weird thing.
No, it's not weird. Turkey is overrated. It's overrated.
It's twice a year.
The Ren Fair?
No, the turkey. It's 2 times a year for 2 holidays. You get people eat turkey.
The food holiday, and we've made so. I like food. Right? I used to weigh 450 pounds. You don't get to 450 without having an affinity for food. And you took what should have been my people's holiday and ruined it with turkey.
My people's holiday.
So, yeah. And then Christmas?
No, Christmas is ham.
Again.
The Christmas ham. Come on now.
Right. But what's the other time you eat turkey? Ren Fair?
So, all right, I will say this.
Easter? No, Easter's lamb.
Hold on. Well, Easter is also ham.
And ham is dry and boring. I like ham. Don't get me wrong.
Whoa.
My favorite
words.
part of the ham. My favorite part of the ham is the. So I always try to buy a bone-in ham,
Yeah. Okay.
and then I take that bone, and you make ham and bean soup,
Yeah.
or split pea soup, and it's 10 times better than the original dish.
I'll get to another recipe in a minute because there's one I've been dying to try that my grandmother used to make, and I haven't had the balls to try it yet. But so for me, ham on Christmas. We also have a ham on Thanksgiving as well. I hit the easy button. Order it from Honey Baked Ham.
Oh yeah,
It's amazing. And so from Honey Baked Ham I can order, and we're not sponsored by them, but by the way, if you would like to sponsor us, I would more than I would do it
pay
for
us in ham.
I would seriously do it for gift vouchers. So, dude, that shit is not cheap. A quarter ham and turkey is like $120.
I didn't realize. So like a ham sandwich, like before I had my surgery, I would probably half the days lunches in a month was a ham sandwich. The rotation was ham, tuna fish, turkey.
It's a good rotation.
Right?
Turkey. Wait a minute.
I like deli turkey.
Okay.
Cold
All right.
cuts.
All right.
I just don't like it, the dumb, stupid bird. And anything you got to brine for 3 days before you cook it. Like,
I don't brine
we're
that
putting a
shit.
lot of work into this mediocre dish.
Because you're not doing it right.
It doesn't matter how you do it.
You throw it in a freaking Reynolds bag, upside down, for like 2.5 hours. 20-pound bird, 2.5 hours, done.
Or you throw it in the trash and order a pizza.
God,
Yeah. This is my line in the sand.
your kids have no Thanksgiving tradition.
Oh, they
Unless the
do.
tradition is pizza.
No, the grandparents and aunts and uncles do it.
Okay.
And given the choice between a Thanksgiving feast or a large number one from McDonald's, I'm eating the Big Mac every single day and twice on Sunday.
Just killing Thanksgiving.
The best Thanksgiving I ever had when I was a kid, we had just moved, and we moved in, like the movers moved us into the house on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And nothing was unpacked. So Thanksgiving was our house, so my aunt and uncle and cousins came over to it was a brand new house that my parents had built. And we're like, what are we going to get? So, because we're not going to cook Thanksgiving dinner, like the house, everything's still in boxes.
Sure.
So we got pizza and chicken wings. Buffalo wings.
But it's hard not to like pizza and buffalo wings.
Yeah, and it's
Regardless of the day. I'm
still,
just saying.
better than turkey.
But there's the 2 days, the 2 holidays that you
What's
eat
the other
turkey.
turkey holiday?
So we also do a turkey on Christmas.
Oh, okay.
But ham is the star of the show.
See, my dad would do like a prime rib, or like a bone-in rib roast, or a beef tenderloin,
So
or beef. He'd make beef Wellington.
So for my ethnic people out there, my Middle Eastern, Southern European, Caucasus / regional people, and maybe the Greeks, I'm not really sure. Lamb.
I like lamb.
Lamb on Easter was for my people, for the Armenians.
Yeah,
Lamb. There was no ham on Easter. It was lamb. Rack of lamb.
I like lamb. My wife doesn't like it. My mother absolutely hated it.
Yeah. My wife won't eat it.
No, I'll eat it.
My kids won't eat it.
I have no problem eating lamb.
They
They
say
know
it's
it's a
too-
baby sheep. It's delicious.
It's not baby sheep.
Well, yeah.
Veal. Oh,
No,
veal's the baby cow.
Lamb's a baby sheep. Adorable, fluffy.
Nah, I'm still eating it.
Oh, 100%. And the veal too? Sorry, homie.
I don't do the veal.
I do.
I for some reason I feel bad. I don't know why. For some reason the baby sheep doesn't bother me. Slice that thing up.
Give me a lamb chop.
Yeah, I in my brain the lamb. I think it's because I probably have like 3% lamb blood in me already because I ate so much of it as a child. But there was this one dish my grandmother made, and it was coarse. Shit.
Did you say horse?
Coarse.
Oh.
Coarse. It was not horse. We don't eat the horse. Coarse. Okay, I don't really know the English word for this, So there's some words I only know Armenian words for because that's what my grandmother said. It's called. I think the English word is bulgur wheat.
Okay.
Rice. It's not a rice though. It's like a grain.
Yeah.
So you get the coarse bulgur. I call it bullhood. That's how I was raised saying it. So essentially, what you do is you take lamb shanks, you saute them in a pan, and the meat's there too. I mean, it's actually a lamb chop with the bone in, and you basically put it on the bottom of a pan, like a roast, like a pot, more or less, and you char it basically. I mean, not brown. You're basically cooking it on the bottom of the thing, just to get some of the juices out. And then you pour the wheat and water or like a little bit of chicken stock, and it cooks the rice in it.
Okay.
And you put a little bit of spaghetti or orzo in there, and you just stir and stir and stir. And eventually the meat falls off the bone, and you have to pull out the bones, or you serve it with the bones and make the people eating it pull out their own bones.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, most people do. I've cooked quite a bit of the Armenian stuff. That's one I haven't tried yet because I'm afraid if I screw it up, I'll never try it again because it was one of my favorite dishes ever. I think I got to though.
I think you do.
I think I have to.
Well, it's like my mother used to make. My favorite dish is carbonara, spaghetti carbonara. I love it, and that's kind of my gauge for an Italian restaurant. If they have carbonara on the menu, if they do, I'm like, oh, okay, we're getting there. How do you make it? Real carbonara does not have cream in it.
Right.
It's just the eggs and bacon. Well, really, guanciale or whatever. It's not. It's essentially, if you can't find it, you can use bacon.
Yep.
But that's my gauge. Some restaurants will have it, but it's just Alfredo with bacon. They're like, nah, that's not quite it. You're missing. But my mother made the best one ever. I have not yet been able to replicate it. The other issue is that since I had my surgery, I don't really eat a whole lot of pasta anymore. Like I used to have to make 2 pounds of pasta for our family. Now I make 1 and we have leftovers. And I'm like, did I eat a pound? However, with carbonara, there are no breaks. If I make a pound of carbonara, and the same thing if I make clam sauce. If I make a half pound, I'm eating all of it. If I make a pound, I'm eating all of it. If there's 2 pounds, there's not going to be any leftovers. It's all going to get consumed. I'm going to be sick and feel like crap, but it was worth it. It's like a hangover, you know? So
it is tough to eat a lot of this stuff now.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of it, not eating the thing.
Yeah.
But it's tough to eat it. Like eat that much of it. Like I still have to get my brain around it. Like, okay, I gotta stop. But if my brain doesn't say stop, my stomach definitely does.
Oh. Well, my stomach's the size of a banana. So it's like, hey, you're done. One more bite? Mm-mm.
No.
The cool thing is I know it. Like I feel it. Like I know that it's the second it's at capacity, it's like a light comes on the dash, like you're done. So
we got 2 more weeks until we give out new weights. So
yeah.
So we've got 1 more show after this. Then the next show will be the Third Way show. That's going to be an interesting one with the Democrat think tank Third Way. Especially if we're still shut down, that'll be an interesting topic for them. But going back to the shutdown, because that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, we got way off track.
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, who doesn't like food? I mean,
yeah.
You know. With the shutdown, we are in day number 12. The House comes back into session Tuesday, which is the day this will come out. I'll be interested to see where this goes. Trump's threatening to lay off federal employees, not just furloughs. Already started the process. It's a lengthy process, though. I think it's more of a prep. Like they're starting the prep because I think it's at least 30 days until.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to wait 30 days after they start the process before they can actually lay the person off.
Yeah.
The other thing is being furloughed, it's not like someone's in the office to hand them the notice. So now you've got to certify mail it, make sure they get it. And like I was saying in the other episode about not like I'm not allowed to go get another job unless
and
I'm
that's
separated.
and to me, that's well, we have some friends who work in different branches of the federal government who still have to go in,
Right.
and they have to go in, and they're not getting. Now, if I was one of those people, like you're not getting shit out of me. Like, okay, I'm here, but I'm going to play on my. But these people who like what are the people I'm talking about? Like, they work in a skiff. It's like they can't even bring. I'm bringing a book. Like,
Yeah.
that's the worst part. And I do have, even though I do not work for the federal government, my father did, and my mom didn't work, so he was the only income. So I forget. I think there's a furlough in the '90s that went on for a while, and it was rough. Like, where are we paying bills?
Yeah.
So I can definitely, and I remember you were saying how you have a fund, an emergency fund. And I imagine when they give you your back pay, you probably just replace that with the.
Yeah.
But the overwhelming majority of people do not have that.
Correct.
So
Correct.
like they are probably, sitting on pins and needles, and it's not like you can go out and they can't go get other forms of employment. Like, could you go get a part-time job? Like, say your hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. Could you go then and get a job that worked 5 to eat in the evening hours? Because you could so say, for example, in your situation, you work during the day, right?
Yep.
You then, say you had another job, say you were a bartender on the side. You just like slinging drinks and flirting with girls, so that's why you were a bartender.
Ladies man. Yeah.
Yeah. So, world renowned. Could you still work your bartending gig if you had it prior to?
I think people that have those jobs currently, probably the federal government doesn't know about it. It's very hard to hold dual employment as a federal.
You know what?
Because we have to report any, and it also depends on the position, but like in my position, I have to fill out a financial form every year.
Yeah.
That says where all of my income comes from.
Right.
And so I think like a bartender, I think that would be fine. But if I put like Raytheon or by the way,
but if you're a senator, it's okay.
Sure. I'm sure they probably don't even check their. I don't even think they have to fucking submit. I always thought it was funny that I had to submit it for any other types of income.
So say you were, well, it's funny because it just reminded me. I have a friend who's federal law enforcement, and he has to disclose, like, he can't work anything. So he is a lacrosse referee, and the hoops he had to jump through to become a lacrosse referee is insane. And it's like, it has nothing to do with his role with the federal government. He wants to stay active in the sport. It gives him some walking around money.
Yep.
And like, I'm an umpire. Like, the money that youth sports officials make is not like quit your job money. It's not life change, generational wealth.
That $70 a week for the double header you just worked isn't breaking you.
Yeah.
Or isn't making you.
But it just seems like one of those things where they don't own you. I get it if there's a conflict of interest, like you said, like if you went and worked for Raytheon,
right?
If you were in defense procurement at DOD and your side gig was selling missiles, like that, yes, that's a problem. But
I think that's their main concern.
Yeah,
like
but if the problem is, I think they treat everything like that.
Yeah.
Like, say you were a mechanic before you got hired by the feds, and you have a little, you're fixing cars in your driveway or working at a local shop just to have some walking around money and access to the bay. Oh, you can't do that. Well, they have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, it's from what they say, it's like it's a matter of, like, let's say your mechanic job brought in almost equal money to your federal job, I guess they're saying it would cause a conflict of interest based on would you take time off from one to work on the other at the detriment of the federal government job?
If it's your leave, that's what. But here's the thing:
Yeah.
you could take a day off of work,
Right.
right? And you could be a complete degenerate in that day off of work that you took your leave, you use your leave to do, and do nothing but sit on the couch and you drink, be drunk, and gamble on sports and masturbate all day for those 8 hours. Right?
But if you made money gambling, you'd be questioned.
Wow. Which very few people do.
Doesn't really happen. It's such a weird, and that's why I was saying, like, normally under normal circumstances, like if I could go get a job during a federal furlough or shutdown, I could understand people saying that we shouldn't get paid. But the fact that we're kind of like handcuffed, like anyone who goes and makes extra money is gonna have to. It's gonna have to be a cash job and not reported, which is a whole.
But the thing is, they're encouraging people to violate the law through their stupid policy because they have a blanket policy set up that covers the most extreme cases or sensitive cases or different things. But the average, if you're whatever you do for the feds, if you're a computer programmer dude and you are, again, you're a bartender or a baseball umpire or a shade tree mechanic, or even building computers for people on your free time in your basement, again, I don't see that as long as you, for me, if I'm the supervising employee, as long as you're federal, that's your primary, and it doesn't interfere with the work you're supposed to be doing, and you're not doing that work while you're supposed to be doing Fed stuff, who cares? I don't care what you do.
And actually, you
scratch your balls all day. I don't,
But I also don't know if that applies to anything outside of a furlough.
Yeah.
Like, outside of a furlough, I don't know if those rules apply.
Right.
They might, but I don't know. It just might be when you're furloughed, you can't go get another job.
Yeah.
So I have to actually, I need to look it up more. I've always just been told you can't go get another job.
Right.
And I was like, if someone's been furloughed and they want to go find another job, and part of it, I kind of mentioned part of it, like you just can't declare yourself separated from the federal government and be separated. Like there's paperwork you have to do.
They put you in jail?
I think they classify it as like an ethics violation, and I don't know why. Like
it's so funny because, like, say you had a job in the private sector, making the same money, same job, same responsibilities that you do now, and you decided you didn't want to work there anymore, and you just stopped showing up. Now, they might do things like not let you collect your final paycheck and whatever, blah, blah, blah you had, but there's not a whole lot they can do to you, right? Like if I won the lot, say I hit Powerball tomorrow. Well, in my case now I'm going to retire because I'm eligible. However, prior to retirement, like I would just be like, "Yep, sorry, I'm not doing this anymore." Well, you have to do this. Okay, right? Like, we got the jackbooted thugs of the federal government. No, they're all busy locking up for ICE. So,
yeah, I have to look at the exact rules on it as to what. I bet you. And the other problem is trying to find any of these employee rules is like trying to.
It's probably buried in some ridiculous document full of. It's funny because like the Fed speak, as we're living in this area, you hear back when I used to listen to terrestrial radio. I don't listen to radio either terrestrial or satellite. I'm a podcast guy. But you'd hear the advertisements on like WTOP, and it would be aimed at Fed people, and it was all these acronyms, and I'm like, what is this shit? Like, it's a language. It's its own special language.
It's tough. It's like, and you could tell lawyers write that shit.
Yeah,
it's like, man, nobody can understand.
It's intentionally, I think. Well, I think it's written so that you have to hire somebody to decode it for you.
Well, we did have a union at one point, but that's no longer there. Apparently, so the union apparently, I've read into this, the AFGE union apparently does still represent workers in which the contract has been ripped up. But they don't collectively bargain for those same people.
See, and this, I can't wait to speak to the third way people. This is where the Democrats used to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just squandered that. They've pushed all those dudes to the Republican Party, all those union guys.
Yep.
You know, like I'm not talking the what's her name, Weingardner from NEA and some of these other ones. I mean, like the actual like local union shops, your plumbers, your auto workers, those like the guys actually doing it.
Yep.
You've pushed all those dudes over, and I don't understand. Like those were your reliable vote, and you just got rid of them.
In my opinion, unions in general need to be overhauled. And we've talked about this. The head of the Teamsters makes a shit ton of money. The head of the NEA makes a ton of money. Like,
well, their job becomes being the union guy.
Political head.
Yeah.
But they've got 30 other people that make that kind of money on their admin staff.
Mm-hmm.
And every rank and file worker is looking at that going, wait a minute. That's where my dues are going to. For you guys to jump on private jets, have one of the nicest offices in downtown DC.
Yeah. Go to DC parties with DC people.
Yeah. And
which I can't think of anything more nauseating than doing that.
But it leads to resentment.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. You know, I want to put more money in my pocket. Maybe cut your dues in half and drop your staff in half. Like, how many of you does there need to be to go advocate on our behalf?
Yeah.
And I can't say I disagree with them.
Yeah.
And so now there are opposites. Like, for example, the police unions. Those unions are very strong. Whereas, like, I know AFGE is weak as hell.
Mm-hmm.
They don't win shit.
Yeah.
So, like, what am I going to pay you for?
Mm-hmm.
To not represent me at all?
Right.
Well, we collective bargain. No, you don't. You don't collective bargain for me for shit.
Yeah.
The president determines or suggests my cost of living increase per year. The OPM rules already exist. You're only there in case someone once in a while is getting railroaded.
Yeah.
Which we don't need 40 of you at the AFG headquarters for that shit.
You probably need 4.
At best. And the rest of it was being done by like shop stewards and shit.
Yeah. And so my dad, being a federal employee, was a member of the union. And he ran afoul of the union because he worked on a project with customs called line release. So essentially the way it used to be done was every ship, truck, airplane, so any place where goods come in from outside the country, that imported goods come in, is a port. So like there's the port of Memphis. And the reason Memphis is a port is because UPS uses Memphis as that's where every UPS aircraft flies in. Not all of them, but that's their big hub, right? So Memphis is one of the biggest international ports in the United States, if not the biggest. Well, every airplane, ship, truck that's bringing goods in has to have a bill of lading, and that has to go through customs. And mainly it's for duties and tariffs and taxes and all that stuff. Well, prior to line release, which kind of automated all of it, it was all done by a guy who would sit there and take his time and go through. And they wouldn't check everything. They check a thing, just to keep everyone honest. Well, when my dad and his group, I guess, came up with this project that used just barcoded scanners to do it, that guy no longer had a purpose. So the union was really upset with them because, of course, the bosses were like, oh, this is great. Everything moves faster. It saves money, blah, 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 blah. And so he ran afoul of the union that way. But he was still represented by them.
Sure.
So, but I think they were a little stronger then. This was in the 80s and early 90s. So
here's a final question. Well, I guess it's a two-parter. How long do you think the furlough goes for? It's already been 12 days. How much longer do you think it goes?
I think it's going to, unfortunately, I think it's going to go on for a while. What was the longest one?
35 days.
35? I see this one going 28. Because I think there are dipshit politicians out there that think they're scoring political points doing it. Because they're dumbass base, and I think it's on both sides. I think it's on the Democrat side because they think they're sticking to the Republicans, and I think it's on the Republican side because a bunch of those old guys, screw the lazy federal employees. There's that guy. So there's no reason because they're getting feedback from the fringes thinking it's effective. When everyone else is like, you guys are a bunch of fucking clowns not doing your job.
Yeah, I think Republicans like the fact they're saving money. Mm-hmm. Although
they're not, because they're
going to have to pay back.
It's because everyone's going to get back pay, but none of the work they would have been doing during the time is going to get done.
Yeah.
So up front, they're saving money. So let's think of it this way: you have no food in the house. You could go out and spend $300 at the grocery store, or we can run through McDonald's and spend $56. $56 is a cheaper option, right, for one meal, mm-hmm. Where that would have been, lunches for 2 weeks.
Right.
If you had just gone to the grocery store. Yeah. So it's penny wise and pound foolish. It's dumb.
And then two, when they do reopen, do you think it's a one part where they reopen on a CR and then negotiate a full budget, or do you think they negotiate a full budget to reopen?
I think they're just going to do a CR and kick the can down the road again.
So I guess that opens up a third question. Do they just keep going CR after CR after CR?
Because they're bitches.
I wonder if that would work. I mean, technically, they did fiscal year 2025 under a CR. Mm-hmm. Like, they never did appropriations. It was all CR. So everything, basically from the Biden administration, kept continuing. And then the Trump administration just said, okay, well, we're not doing this, or this. They basically just cut spending that way.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, we got our spending cuts, and we're not doing any of this.
Yeah, I think we'll make it, because Raytheon's not getting paid right now, are they?
I mean,
what about McDonnell Douglas?
I'm sure. So with the military, I think, so someone is working there. So someone should be able to sign off on invoices. But if there's no money to pay them with, then no.
Right.
They can't get actually paid.
Yeah. So eventually, I think when those guys get fed up with it, that's when it'll stop.
It's possible.
Because we all know who really runs the world. It's not our votes. It's the corporate oligarchy.
Yeah.
Runs everything. So, and eventually, what's his name from Ukraine is going to need money, or Bibi is going to need money.
Yeah.
So eventually, that'll be the pressure. It has nothing to do with you or running this country. It has to do with all these satellite things and the corporate oligarchy. So.
Well, plus the other thing is, if we don't put dollars out in the world, the U.S. dollar can't be the reserve currency.
Yeah.
So there's also that part of it. Mm-hmm. And if you can't issue T-bills, then it can't be the reserve currency.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm just going under the assumption that this is all just posturing. They'll all figure something out.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's already like a deal plan.
They probably have it, mm-hmm. And then it's going to be like, once they've realized that it's kind of, oh, hey, we're starting to get some heat from our masters.
Yeah.
Let's, Zelensky and Bibi called, let's knock it off. And, oh, wait, the Houthis, our sworn enemies, are acting up again. Because we've been sworn enemies against the Houthis I know from birth.
Right.
I've known that they were our sworn enemies for.
And Iran's doing some shit.
Yeah.
North Korea's doing some other shit.
Yeah.
Okay, we might have to actually do some stuff now.
Yeah.
Putin maybe or maybe not going under.
Who knows?
Who knows what's going on with him?
Yeah.
He just keeps grinding more people into a meat grinder at the front lines.
The Russian government's still open.
Right?
The North Koreans are still running.
North Koreans just going strong,
Yeah.
chugging.
Yep.
Iran, shoot. Didn't we just bomb the crap out of Iran?
They're still going.
Still going. They didn't stop. Shoot, Syria had a civil war for 6-7 years.
I bet you their government's funded.
They're back open.
Yeah.
They just went. Didn't they just go to the
Hey,
UN?
but thank God the Ukrainian pension fund is fully funded.
Fully funded.
This fucking place.
Everyone's got their stuff fully funded with our money,
Yeah. Except us.
except us. That we can't open the federal government. Nope. Closed for business. It's like Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Want to thank Adam Chubbuck with Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland. That's tacmd.com, TACMD.com. Go on over there, get your appointment set with Adam. Let us know what you think in the comments. See you next week.